Hello and welcome everybody to this Avantra product session, which will cover some of our latest updates of our June 2022 release. And I can announce it will be a major step forward in our automation journey. My name is Bernd Engist. I am the CTO of Avantra, and I'm joined today by our product manager, Olli Rogers, and our head of SAP engineering, Pierre Fonesch.
Hi all.
Hello, Bernd. Happy to be here.
Welcome, guys. First of all, Olli, our latest product update will have some very exciting news. Do you want to shed some light on it?
Of course, Bernd. Thank you. 21.11.6, or our June update, includes quite a lot of automation features, as you said, but also some not so automation features. We're finally releasing our JavaScript debugger to allow customers to step through JavaScript run.js custom checks that they've written and automation steps. So it's a little bit related to automation and develop these in a nice and easy way. We've also improved our compatibility with Vmware. We introduced Vmware support in 21.11.0, and we've had some great feedback from customers. We've improved this in 21.11.6, adding new compatibility and new ways of matching systems in Vmware to Avantra. We've also spent a lot of time on supportability, improving how we log out messages if something goes wrong, if there's a network problem, and also summarizing this information to help you and our support teams get to the bottom of what's happening. As well, we're continuing our UX journey. Those that have been following these updates and taking note will have noticed that we've introduced our new UI, and this has been around dashboards. And 21.11.6, we're still focused on dashboards, but we've improved the permission concept. We've also improved how these dashboards work and cache data. And this is a great foundation step for the next major update in this space.
Cool, thanks a lot, Olli. So I understand the platform got updated and we now have many new automations, right, as well. So the platform got updated with all these examples, but the biggest update, of course, is our automation engine, right? Many new features and as well content, many new templates for our enterprise customers, right? And we now have automation procedures for SAP. Does this mean we separate the content now from the platform?
Yes, Bernd. With 21.11.6, we're also introducing automation templates for Avantra Enterprise. And these automation templates deliver pre-written templates of automations that we find really useful. And we've got feedback from customers that they find them really useful. And you'll see some today in this presentation. Now, to get to that point, we've had to improve our core automation engine by adding features to handle credentials, to handle how we send files and manage files in Avantra as part of the automation process. We've also improved how we trigger automations. So we now have scheduling and a brand new API to start and monitor automations from external sources. So Avantra now becomes your hub and your hub for automation.
Okay, and this means that all these new automations can be delivered separately from our core release, right? So Pierre and his group, our SAP engineering, can deliver them and enhance them without us touching the original release. Right.
Yeah, and customers can choose which automations and which templates that they want to include in their system. So if you're interested in our system refresh automation, you could install that. If you're interested in our spam and support tools update, you could have that as well. And you can pick and choose. How we're delivering these is by supplying an import file that you can load into Avantra. And you'll see the inner workings of how these steps work. So if you don't like how we do a stop process on your database, you can change that and submit your own step in its place, or you can add additional steps that if you want to check for another file or perform another process or trigger another automation, you can do. So this level of flexibility is something we've not had before, and it's really exciting to see in 21.11.6.
So this means we actually deliver these automation templates in source code, which can be changed by, let's say, powerful users, and so they can adopt to their environment.
That's correct. We've worked quite hard on the APIs that are available, the support in our API documentation, and Pierre is probably the first to one of our first internal customers of our platform, and has been challenging us to provide these new features. So us using our own automation engine to build automations proves that our customers can also do it.
Perfect. That sounds very exciting. Now, before we dive into the details of the big update of our automation engine, so that will be later you, Ollie. Pierre, can you talk us through the new automation content for SAP?
Yes, thanks, Ben. In the first shipment, we will deliver 5 templates, which are downloaded for enterprise customer from our support website directly. But here the biggest and as well the most complex one is the automation for SAP system refresh for HANA-based system, and so full system copy automation. All the automation templates are really interesting, like profile parameter maintenance, spam, support tools update, simple job management, distributing and importing transport requests, and so on.
Okay, so this sounds like a lot of content, right? What is the most important thing when doing a system refresh, and how can our customers benefit from it?
Probably the most important thing is the isolation of the data when we have the restore of the tenant from production to the queue system. We have to be sure that nobody is able to connect to the system, that no jobs run for the system, that there is no RFC that go outside, and so on. So the copied system that must not interfere at all with the original production system, which is very important. But furthermore, in order to avoid human errors, we have automated all post-copy automation, which is called PCA. An example of this is the BDLS, and the experts know what I'm talking about here.
Okay, this is all the post-copy steps, and this BDLS logical systems are somehow transferred is one of them, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Pierre, can you show us the procedure and run one as an example? We know the system, even for small systems, it takes a few minutes to run such a system refresh.
Sure. Give me a second. I will share my screen and show you live on the system. Okay. Okay. We now go on the automation, on the new automation tab, where we have the different workflows, the jobs, the kernel create, and the file bundle. Here, what I would like to show today is the system refresh procedure. So this is the new system refresh procedure, which what we have here. This procedure contains about 35 steps. And we go first, what we do in this procedure, we export all the data from the queue system. We stop the queue system, we log the user on the queue system. Then we restore the production database to the queue system. So we restore the tenant from the production to the queue system. What we do later, we import all the data in 2 or 3 steps. First of all, we import the very important thing, which is the license, the user, the batch group. After this, we start the system for the first time. We do all the cleaning that need to be done on the system, and then we import all the data back from the queue system in the P system, from the queue system in the newest queue system, which is a copy of the production system. And after that, we upload the SAP profile, we restop the system, and then we are doing the BDLS procedure, which is the modification of the logical system. So the logical system are back to the queue as it was before the copy. And then what we also do, we change the logging screen, so the logging screen reflects the logging screen it was before the copy. And we re-import all the data transport that have been imported in the queue, but not on the production system. Though at the end, when the user has confirmed that the procedure worked fine, we unlock the user and we release the jobs. So
there's as well some caution steps built in, right, at the very end. Absolutely.
We have a validation step at the end, so the user can connect to the system. By locking the system, we have whitelisted, so the operator can define which user shouldn't be locked on the system, and this user are still capable to connect to the system, verify that everything is fine, and just confirm.
Can you actually run this procedure, Pierre? So seeing is believing, right? Do you want to show us the source and the target system before, or how?
Absolutely, we can do this. Let's go on the system. Okay, here we are going on the QS system. This is the QS system. I'm on this system here. So we see this is the queue system, and I go on the production system, which is here. So we see this is a production system here. And now we will copy all the database from this system to the queue system. So.
And can you show us actually a proof that the data is actually being copied?
Sure, we can. So first of all, this logging screen will be changed. Yeah. The first one we saw here, and when you go on the system, you see the logical system here. We have on this client 00, you see this QS system, and here on this system, we have this is our production system, and then you go on this system, we have the production client here. So we will copy this everything, and after the BDLS, we will get this QS back, but we will stop at before the BDLS, so I can show you that it is effective a copy of this system here. Let me move on this one. Okay, now let's go back to our system here. Okay, this is the workflow. We have different variants, so we can use the same workflow, and with different variants, we can run the workflow. For example, in this one, we copy the PRD system to the QS system. In this second variant, we copy the SR2 system to the SR1 system. So you can even run system copy in parallel. For example, if you have a ERP system and CRM system and BW system, you can run the workflow for the three systems in parallel, which improve the quality of the sync between the system. Let's just run this. Okay, I go here, and here I can choose I want to copy right now the PRD to the QS system, so I just choose a variant. Now I can review all my parameters here. So I have to give parameters like the source system and so on. I can give the information regarding where I want to put my log files and so on, because for each step, log files are generated. So here I can define all the information here. And when I am happy with the parameter, I just click here on run, and then we are good to go with the procedure. So here we see all the details about what happened in the system in the background. Also, we see first that we have a full procedure to verify that the system is qualified for the system copy. So we check if the transport is imported to the system, if we have enough space on the system, if we have the correct Avantra version, correct agent, and so on. That will be checked all with this first step here. The main step is the system refresh, and then we have a sub workflow. We check the system. Then later on, we will see that we have a workflow for the restore of the production system to the queue system.
Perfect. That looks very cool. How long will this take now, Pierre, to complete?
This is frankly, this is a test system, so I don't want to live somewhere. This is a test system, so this system will take about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, depend on this system.
We certainly can shortcut this a little bit in this video, right?
Yeah.
For a real production system, while this is being executed now, can you tell us something about a real customer environment? So a real production system with terabytes of data. Can you share the numbers on what we can save for a customer, right? In terms of doing it fully automated and compared to how this customer was working before.
Yeah, we recently had a proof of concept by a real production system about 1 terabyte database via the system. And the Avantra automation, the whole automation lasts 18 hours to complete. But it's not without any human interaction. So most of the time, or the time required for the restore of the database, which is about 2 to 3 hours. And then the most part was the export and import of the data. As you are aware, the import of data on a HANA system is very, very long. And BDLS took 3 hours on this system. And that could be even longer on other systems. But previously, the customer was running a complex manual process. They had written down in a handbook, and the handbook is about 100 pages. So a very large handbook, and they had to turn every page and run it on the system. So very complex work here. And it took them 2 to 4 days to complete the procedure. Also, the guy that conducts the system copy procedure was a very skilled SAP basis guy, so very expensive employees to work this. And usually there was not only one guy, but there were 2 guys to run the procedure just to have the 4i principle for it. Yeah.
So there's a lot of benefit I can see, right? So it saves a lot of time and resources, improves quality, right, and testability. So there are many benefits here.
Yeah.
What else do you see as benefits?
Yeah, since they now can do it fully automatically, they can run system refresh far more often and triggered by less expensive members, let's say. Previously, they did it, let's say, twice a year. Now they can do it once a month or even more often. So this helps them to test their change with better and most recent data. So the whole development process can be more agile and they can release to production with more security and confidence. So this automation is helping the whole DevOps automation process.
Understand. Perfect. So this is another example on how automation can deliver far more benefits than only saving time and resources. It is key to all that we can sum up as the digital transformation journey, right? Now let us continue while the automation is running in the background. Before we do another SAP automation example, Olli, would you tell us a bit more about the changes to our automation engine? As you said in the beginning, I understand there have been a lot of requirements to make the system refresh procedure work, right?
Okay, so let's begin by showing you the new user experience we have for creating workflows. Workflows can be found in configuration and in automations. Prior to 21.11, our existing automation engine took top spot, and this has now been deprecated to the bottom of this list. Workflows is now the primary interaction point for doing automations on the Avantra platform. And you can see as I step into the new workflow, you see a redesigned screen where we split out the different components of a workflow to make it easier to understand. I won't go through all of these, but we split it out into inputs, into steps, outputs, variants, and schedules. So you'll see we can create it easily a new step. That's hello, and choose my hello world step. And the inputs and outputs are now simplified on the screen. We've also improved how you navigate from one step to its actual definition. So if you click on the step here, I will remind it to save. Click on a step here, I can see its definition. And here I can show you some more features that we've added. Not in 21.11.6, but in 21.11.4, we added the ability to create these step library steps, which are JavaScript in nature, and have inputs and outputs. So you define what information you want to send to that step and what information it can return. So it's a completely reusable component that can be used across multiple workflows. In 21.11.6, we've also enhanced this test function to include a debugger. So now it'll show you a debug URL that you can open up in your browser and step through the script on the agent itself. So you can see what exactly it is doing and shorten the time needed to actually write this step in the first place. And I don't want to speak for Pierre, but I can safely say that he loves it. We've also improved this and added this functionality to run JS custom checks as well. So if you're writing JavaScript-based custom checks, you have this debug functionality as well.
Just for our new audience, Oliver, just custom check is our toolbox where you can enhance our already very massive monitoring library, which has over 200 built-in checks by even your own specific requirements, right?
Yes, if you can dream it, you can build it. It's a completely extensible scripting language based on JavaScript with complete APIs to reach into the system and check for files, check for conditions, and alert you about things that may be specific to your business process. And this is how extensible Avantra is, that you can be monitoring things that really concern you.
Perfect, but let us move on with automation engine.
So also new is the ability to create a manual step. So I can add this step just to prompt the user whether I should continue or not with the next step. And this is awesome. That allows you to pause a step, pause a workflow, such as the complex system refresh workflows that Pierre and his team have been creating. So you can put checkpoints in to say, I don't want to do the entire thing, but let's stop it here. Let me do some manual checks to make sure that we've got all the prerequisites in place. Additionally, we've introduced file bundles. So we can add a step to distribute a file bundle. Now, what is a file bundle? As part of, say, an automation to import transports into a system, you need to send the transports to that system. So Avantra now includes a file bundle concept that allows you to define a set of files that can be used within an automation and sent to an agent as part of a workflow. Simply here, I can specify a constant input of a file bundle that I've already created before. And I'll leave everything else blank. Save that. File bundles are defined here. So in our new tab, file bundles, we can create a file bundle, and here's one I've created earlier for our latest transports. And this can be used within our transport import automation template to grab the content of this zip file run an unzip, copy to the right locations, and run a transport import. And that's exactly what our automation template does. So the missing component here.
Yeah, please go on.
So the missing component here is that some automation steps require additional credentials. Maybe to import these transports, you need to be the STID ADM user. By default, we recommend that Avantra agents running as a special Avantra user with lockdown monitoring only privileges. So how do we get access to run this transport import? And this leads me on to my last feature, which is credentials. So looking at say a server or an SAP system, we now have a new tab called credentials. And this is where users can create their own and assign their own credentials to a system. And when an automation is run on that specific system, it can read those credentials dynamically and work out how to access them. Even our customers can create their own credential purposes for their own use cases. So if you're building your own workflow, you can create your own credential purposes and use Avantra to manage those credentials.
So we are following the least access principle here, right? Because of security reasons. So we do not take the one and only user which is able to do everything. Instead, we need exactly the users for a given purpose. And no need to say that this is highly encrypted here, this information, right?
Yes.
Okay, and the automation then simply grabs a certain user and you can maintain it somewhere else. So you have the data very well separated from the execution logic inside the workflow. Correct?
Yeah, we have a new JavaScript API that allows you to read a specific credential purpose from the monitored system or the system that the workflow is operating on, and use that credential to either execute an OS command using SSH, or to connect to a database using the specific credentials, or even connect to an SAP system by username, password, and client. Mm-hmm. So you can perform complex operations in that way.
Perfect. Oli, thanks a lot for this update. So I think that's really great, and I can't wait to see how our power users will leverage all the new benefits. All right. Now, maybe let us go back to the SAP automations. Pierre, while the system refresh is still progressing, do you want to show us some more automations? Maybe with a quicker or very short runtime, so actually the user can see how it completes?
Sure, Ben. Let's share my screen. Of course, for example, Avantra can now automatically maintain a profile parameter. By the way, this automation is running here. Let me check where we are right now. Just before we go on the other automation. Okay, we see here we are on the point where we have done the restore of the database. Just confirm that the restore is done, confirming this. And now the workflow is continuing. Now I will use this time to show you the other automation I just spoke about. It's a automatically maintain profile parameters. So I go here on one of our systems, this dev system here. Here I have selected some checks. Let me this subsystem here. Cut. I need to find my check here.
I think it's called
password something, huh?
Yeah. Login or something. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, password policy, exactly. This one, I will take just this one. I think we have a lot, the word demo in it. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Where I stop by showing this.
Delete demo and do it once again. So you go here. I show you the check also, and then they can come.
Okay. Okay. I'm showing you on this system dev system. This is here we have some check I have selected. This is the check I'm speaking about, where we verify if that the parameters are set up correctly or in accordance to the SAP note. There's an SAP note that say, okay, for example, in each password, you need at least one upper character, you need one special character, and so on. So in this check, we verify all these conditions. And so here we see some digit, at least one digit in the password, you need a minimum password letter one, lowercase at least one, and so on. And we see that on this system, all these conditions are not set. So I have this check. What I can do right now, I can run one workflow and correct all this behavior on the system. So I go on my workflow again, where I have my system copy, the same, and I will change this this profile parameter. This is this profile parameter where I will set all the parameters as it is notified in this SAP note 2253549. This is a official SAP note based on this security-based intent template. So I will use this automation here. I will just run this automation where I can choose my system. Here I have the definition of what should be changed on the system. But first of all, I want to show you on the system. I go on the system. By the way, here you see that the QS system has been shut down for the system copy. So I go on my development system. And what I can show in the profile, it should be here, the default profile. Let's see.
So here we see we are at version 29, correct?
Yes, we see we are version 29, exact. And when we go for the logging parameter, here you see the value 00 everywhere. So this is not what we want to have. So we want to have the correct one. No, I just run my automation. Open this one. Okay, I just run my automation. The system is selected, dev system, and just click on run here. And
I think you need to quit this example. You need to quit.
Exactly. This is a very good example because I can show you a nice function we have in Avantra is a resume function. If for any reason it cannot work, you have this new function resume. You click on this and you just can say skip if you just want to bypass or just retry exactly the same. So just retry here. And I assuming my workflow finished correctly. Here we see with this status here. So I can close this. And then we can go back on your system, my dev system here.
This was just you didn't leave the transaction completely, right? And then
correctly.
What we see as well that we are using the original function module, right? So we're doing it really right with some ABAP code, not simply writing it to a file and then messing up the consistency between the database and the file, right? So we're doing it really as an administrator would do.
Absolutely, and what we also use, as just Oliver said, we can define with which credential we want to do the change on the SAP system. So you don't have to use a monitor user that is defined for Avantra, but you can define as an ad hoc user and work with this user, which is very important.
Okay.
So you have a traceability of what has been changed on your SAP system. So this is very important for the auditors. So now you see we have the version 30 here, and I can show my parameter here, and the parameter changed to the value 1. So if the changes are effective here, what we can also do here on this system, now we can start the system and see if the behavior of this check changed. So I go on my SAP system here, that system, and directly from here I can just restart my system. Restart here, restart my subsystem, and then execute, and the system will be restarting in the background. So I go on the system here.
Perfect. So everything can be done out of Avantra. No highly skilled SAP basis guy needs to be involved. And basically, the process is we have an automated security baseline, right? Now a system is not compliant to this baseline. You go to the automation, you say run on the system, you wait, and a little bit later, you can then simply restart it, and the security baseline check then automatically turns green, right?
Okay, exactly. You see, the system is already shut down now. And in a few seconds, the system will be restarted directly from here. So we see here in the automation of the restart process that the system has been stopped, and we will wait a few seconds, and the system will be restarting the following steps here. Okay, in the meantime, we can have a look at something else. Let's check another example. I close in the meantime this automation, and I go back on my checks. What I will show later on is max WP runtime. You often in a SAP system, when you have to import some package or whatever, you need to adjust the max WP runtime, because this is all a process that runs in a dialog process, and the max WP runtime is by default set to 10 minutes or 15 minutes, not longer than that. And for this kind of procedure where you have to import support package or whatever, you need to change the runtime to 1 hour or 2 hours or whatever. So here I will show this WP runtime change. Let's see what happened with our SAP system here. Try to reconnect back. Okay, my system is back here. I just log in again. Okay, we are back on the SAP system. I will take my check again. Here we have for my dev system. Okay, you see Avantra is waiting here by a grace period of 1 to 2 minutes to check that the system is back again. And when the system is back, we will be able to run the custom check that will verify that the logging parameters are set up correctly. Let's wait a few seconds more here. What else we can do with the automation? We have the other automation, like the update of spam and the support tools, the STPI, STAPI component. We also provide simple job management that's help organization for change maintenance the job on many systems. Very used by customers, and we provide as well an automation to import our own transport. So we have an automation as content here for the transport. With this automation, we are able to import a bundle of transport, as just already explained before. We have in Avantra the possibility to create a file bundle, and this is a file store that are located on the master or accessible from the master, and all these files are sent to the different SAP system. And this is how we can we can put all the transport for one central place to each SAP system in just one workflow. This is what we do here. Here we see we have 4 different transport, and these 4 transport can be deployed easily directly from the workflow. Okay, now we saw that the system has been restarted here. So the dev system has been restarted. We can go now to SAP system and look at our checks. This one. Okay, and now we see that the passwords are green here. All the checks perform correctly, and with the active value 1, and the reference value is also 1. So we are good here. So the next example would be the max WP runtime. Here we want to just modify the max WP runtime on the SAP system. So I go back to my SAP system. This value here, display. Okay, here we have this 10 minutes here. I know because I'm doing an action on the SAP system that will use a dialog process more than 10 minutes. I want to change this max paper runtime, but just ad hoc, so meaning just for my action here. So what I do, I go on my automation workflow, and I will take this one here. It's already prepared here. I will change dynamically my parameter on my SAP system.
Okay.
I just execute this, and here I have different variants. So I can choose this one here. I will change the value to 15 minutes here. So just run this right away. That took a few seconds. Okay, it's already in process here and already done. Yeah, status done. So I go back to my SAP system here, refresh the screen here, display, and you see that the value has been changed to 900 here, directly on the system.
Perfect. So this could actually be scheduled, right? So you say, okay, whenever you use certain action, you set it dynamically to a higher value, and later on you set it back. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks
and
a lot.
Here we have,
yeah. Want to show something more?
I just wanted to say that we have defined this check here for the max VP runtime to verify that we have the default value 10 minutes. You will see in a few seconds the check will change to warning because we do not have the standard value, meaning the 10 minutes. That will be shown in a few seconds here. But let's continue with the system copy, and we will come back to this one later on.
Yes, sure. So, want to show us the state of the system copy once again before we?
Sure. Okay. The system copy is this guy here. Where I am. I just click on this workflow, and then I see that it's still running here.
Yeah.
And where are we here? Just open this one, and we see we do already a lot of work here. And here we are checking the SAP Office profile on the SAP system. But the SAP system is already here, so we can have a look at the SAP system right now. So I will just look at my, we haven't touched the PRD system, we just copied. So I can have a look on the QS system. And you see, we already changed all the information here. Yeah, you see the user is still right now at that point because we are not finished with the system copy. I forgot to put my name in the whitelist of user. You can define a whitelist of user that shouldn't be locked by the system copy, but this is a proof that we are really working on a real system, and that we really lock the user on the system.
Okay, so we're really doing it in a serious way, right? And with all
absolutely, yeah. Okay, no wait a little more, and now you see we are running the BDLS. The BDLS is one of the very important part of a system copy. And what we do here in background, we run about, you see here, 26 different SAP job on the system. So when we go to the system, we can, hopefully I can go with another user here.
Thanks, Per, for showing us this really great automation here. And yeah, we have seen this now for SAP HANA. Can you tell us if there's something else in the planning, support for other databases, for example?
Sure. We already have a Sybase ISC, which will be the next database we will support in the system copy automation. But as you know, the system copy automation, the most part is not database related, so this is not a big change. even though we will have Sybase as next, and Oracle will be the third one we will support this year.
Get it, but most of the procedure is basically the same. It's only the part where we restore and do the backup restore and these kind of things, which is different between.
Yes, exactly. This is the post DB restore, the table action. These are very database dependent, but also steps are really common to all database types. Yeah.
Excellent.
Right.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. So Pierre, thanks Pierre, and thanks Ollie for the insights you shared today. I truly believe this is a milestone in Avantra's over 20 years of history. We are now providing fully automated system refresh alongside other very highly valuable SAP automations. Pierre has outlined this in the session today. So we are supplementing the automatic kernel upgrade, which has now been available for 1.5 years now. And we got a tremendous amount of good feedback from our existing customer base. They are very interested in what we showed today. Automation is the key to intelligent operations for SAP. And as you see, we will continue on this journey. Thanks for your attention today. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to know more or get in contact with us, please check out our website and our Mastering Avantra YouTube channel.